أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وسلم تسليما كثيرا. In the name of Allah, the cherisher and the sustainer of the universe, peace and blessings of Allah be upon his noble prophet and messenger Muhammad, his household and followers, and all those who follow the path of Allah to the day of Qiyamah. Viewers, it is another Friday, and I welcome you to Islamic Buzz on Metro TV. My name is Abbas Umar Abdul-Karim. For the past 3 weeks, we have been running a series on the pending or impending, anyway, the way you choose to call it, National Conference of Muslim Representatives. Inshallah, tomorrow, tonight, guests from other regions will start arriving for the conference tomorrow and then Sunday. My guest, as usual, is seated already, the man with a lot of titles, my brother Abdul-Rahman, the outgoing General Secretary. I'll be asking him at the tail end of the program if he's interested in seeking re-election. For now, once the position has been declared vacant, we would say he is the outgoing General Secretary of COMOG and a key member of the organization committee. Abdul-Manan, Hajj Abdul-Manan, once again, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Now, we here at Islamic Buzz or at Metro TV took keen interest in the issue of leadership because it is going to be the panacea to, if not to solve all our problems, to the large extent, give us some sense of direction. Today's discussion is going to center mostly on what's going to happen at the conference. So my first question to you, Sheikh, oh no, you don't want to be called Sheikh. Are we ready for the conference tomorrow?
Thank you very much once again. Yes, alhamdulillah, we are ready. We are ready. As I'm talking to you now, the regional delegates have already started arriving at Nat Hall. And those who don't know, if you have already arrived in Accra, please, you may go to Nat Hall and check in. Yes, we are ready, alhamdulillah. We have also had the opportunity of interacting with the stakeholders. As at even yesterday night, we were still talking to quite a number of them. Everyone has his position. But alhamdulillah, we've been able to interact, had interaction with almost all of them.
Thank you very much. To join us, you can go to Facebook, type Metro TV Islamic Buzz, and send your comments and contribution. But please be civil and then decorous in sending the contribution. Otherwise, I would not read your contribution. Thank you very much. So it means we are ready.
Yeah,
good. So delegates are arriving today.
Yes.
For viewers who are watching for the first time, let's go through the delegate lists, the categories. We can't go through all, of course. Let's look at national delegates.
The regional.
Is it national?
Regional.
Good.
Regional.
And then regional delegates. Let's look at the composition now.
Well, inshallah, we have two. First program tonight is going to be elections of COMOG executives. Okay. That's from Maghrib to midnight. That is the activity for today. And so you realize that we have two categories of participants coming from the regions. Alhamdulillah, we have average of 7 per region. You know, some regions have gone beyond the number that has been allocated to the region, because where you have regional imam coming, he doesn't have to come alone. Okay. In some regions, about 3 regions, you have traditional chiefs who happen to be a Muslim, and he cannot come alone. He has to come with 1 or 2 other persons. So that has actually increased the numbers from our projection.
Well, he can come with his entourage, but they are not delegates.
Yes, they are not, but we have a responsibility to
take good care of them.
But where it matters, in fact, maybe we will talk about the groupings that the various group discussions or working groups that will take place at the conference. So I'm just trying to say that in the case of each region, we have some who are regional executive or COMOG who are coming. Others are not coming as regional executives or COMOG, but they are stakeholders of the region. And so those who are going to take part in the exercise tonight are the executives of COMOG. However, tomorrow, all of them are going to take part in the program. For instance, we have 4 or 5 different working groups. We have the concept, Shura concept group. We also have implementation strategy working group, and then we're also going to look at the constitutional working group, and then we also have rights. You know, we're definitely going to discuss issue about the rights of our ladies and the rights of our students in to worship in the various schools. So we are going to have another working group that is going to look at that, inshallah.
Now I'm getting confused.
Don't be confused.
No, I'm getting confused, really.
Don't be.
We're talking 2 separate things here. COMOG elections, and then National Conference, of Muslim Representatives. Let's get the distinction clear.
We are trying to kill one bird with 1 stone. For instance, they have already started arriving up to evening. So in the night, there will not be activity. Okay, so from 6 o'clock Maghrib, after Maghrib, up to midnight, that period will be there for no activity. So we thought that that particular period should be used for COMOG elections. Okay, so tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, participants will start arriving, and at 9 o'clock, the invited guests will be seated for the opening ceremony, which will take us up to 12 o'clock. After 12 o'clock, we'll have a break for lunch and prayers, and then the working groups will sit for 3 hours continuously before they come to the first plenary sitting, where all the working groups will present their reports to the House. We may not be able to discuss all the reports, so wherever we stop, then we'll continue the following morning as early as 8 o'clock. From 8 o'clock up to 10 o'clock, we are expecting to have collated all the views and the contributions from all the working groups by the participants at the second plenary sitting, and then it will be incorporated into a common report. So we're going to have 2 different reports. We're going to look at the constitution, the proposed constitution. We're also going to look at the communique that will capture or summarize the proceedings of the conference. Yes.
Okay. A bit confused, but let's make progress. Okay, so working groups tomorrow.
Yes, inshallah.
Okay, which will culminate into plenary sessions, and then by the end of it all, a position paper or some sort of position paper will be worked on. Okay, so okay, so now the delegates, we have chiefs, imams, professional bodies, and then recognized, organized bodies. Permit my if it doesn't synchronize with your terminologies. So how are you going to put these groups together?
Okay, for instance, in Ashanti region, Ashanti region and Northern region, they have the highest number in terms of the delegates.
Okay.
Obviously, in terms of size, in terms of
this
kind
number of
cream of the stakeholders we have in such regions, it's obvious. So, for instance, we have participants coming from not necessarily regional headquarters or regional capital, as it were. What we did this time is to make sure that we decentralize the invitations, to make sure that stakeholders who are outside the regional capital are invited to participate, which the response has been wonderful. So what we are going to look at is, for instance, if we have regional imams. Let's take another region, for instance. You have Central Mosque is bringing, Ambaria Mosque is bringing. We have organizational representations and the sects also coming on board. Now, when they come, we look at the numbers that have come. Then we distribute them proportionally to all these working groups. However, we know very well that there is much interest in some few working groups. So we see how best that number can also be adequately, taken care of. So that at least we have certain human resource that will be there. Also, there will be some people who have already presented their proposals. Some have also given indication that they will be presenting their proposals. So all these people will be taken on board. For instance, Professor Pelga and the group in Kumasi, they have done a lot of work already. They have a lot of material as far as the rights of women and the rights of our students is concerned. Of course, they'll be given that platform to be able to address the rights group, with their findings and with their documents. Then we have others who also go to the Shura Concept, committee or working group, so to go and make their presentation. We are looking at it this way. If Imam Abbas, for instance, unfortunately, you say you're not coming with your proposal.
No, I have a memo.
Oh, well,
but I won't be around.
Okay. Supposing you were to come.
But I will give a teaser here.
All right. Supposing you were to come, we would have given you a time for you to summarize your proposal, and then members of the working group will comment on your proposal. If it's something that ought to be incorporated in the framework that we are proposing, then it is incorporated. Yes. So that is how the format is going to be, and there's going to be ground rules of contribution. I mean, you can't do A, you can't do B, you have to do A, you have to do B. I mean, all that's outlined for everybody who will come there. And we can assure people that we are also going to have, though it's going to be brotherly affair, but at the same time, we don't take things for granted. Okay. We'll have, because we are collaborating with some security agencies, and we are making sure that if you come in there,
bloody
brotherly.
Okay, brotherly.
So it means that when you come in there, you make sure that you come and make your presentation. Your idea may not be taken. That does not mean that it doesn't. You don't come in there. You ought to come. When you come, make sure that you make your presentation. If the working group decide that it ought to be incorporated for it to be presented to the plenary sitting, so be it. So we shouldn't think that whatever that we are bringing along should necessarily be taken by the working group.
Okay. So you have hopes and expectations. So by the end of the conference, what do you want to achieve?
Well, we have had a couple of meetings with His Eminence the National Chief Imam and other stakeholders, including the chiefs. And we have made it known to them that for us, the expression of their leadership, that is why we are going to have a paper that will be presented by Alhaji Abdul-Rahman Gomda of Daily Guide. He's going to present a paper that will look at the contribution of our leaders in the past to the development of Islam. We ought to appreciate what our leaders have done. We are not saying that we are rubbishing everything. We are saying that their contribution, their posture, their expressions in the leadership style that they have developed, they have contributed in developing Islam and Muslim Ummah up to this stage has not been documented. We met His Eminence the National Chief Imam. We said, Your Eminence, your expression and leadership style, we want that to be replicated in all regions. You have what we call advisory council. In our terms, we call it consultative council or shura council. There is no difference, except that we want to document everything that we have or they have done in the past and continue to do it to be documented, and others also will bring more ideas so that we have a rich document that will guide the process. We are not going to implement anything. When we finish, we'll hand it over to the leadership that this is what we have done, and then our work is done. Yes.
Okay. So, you see, in this country, if you are talking about leadership within the Muslim community, you have to be very careful. So I am calculating my words and meandering carefully and knowing where to enter and then where not to enter. But let's go this way. I have a framework. You gave it to me, and I took time to look at it. You are envisaging that at the end of the conference, there should be a national framework for leadership in this country. This national framework will not take away anything from sects. No, the sects will remain and do their sects.
That's right.
You see, professional bodies will remain, but there are a lot of things that unite us and very few things, put us apart. So that's me, how I see it. And then secondly, there should be a national vision or agenda for the Muslims. Behind the scene, we should be able to lobby political parties. Every political party is key stakeholder in governance. Okay? We open our doors and talk to everyone. Present to them, this is this. That's what I want to hear, but I'm not hearing Manan.
Imam, what we are saying is that if you have a platform that we are envisaging, if we were to take your time to look at the objectives of the platform that we are envisaging, it is even more than what you are talking about.
Yes, I saw all those laudable ideas.
Yes.
But communicate it. Let's hear them. I'm not hearing you tell my viewers.
That is why when we went to the various sects and various organizations, and after listening to us, and after adding this, they said, look, time has come for us to go this direction. For instance, when we went to Parliament, they started by telling us what we did not even incorporated in the document that we presented to them. And they think that, and many others also think that, look, if this system is put in place, it will make us much bigger, much stronger than Ugandans, than other countries that have been able to grow much stronger because they have such a system. That's exactly what we are talking about. So, of course, we can't sit on air to say everything. Like we said, we are not the implementing agency. We are just leg workers for our elders who will do everything, clean it up, and continue to be at their feet to continue to persuade them and explain to them that this is about the future of Islam and the future of Ummah in Ghana. So, for us, we can do our best and bring others who have also got superior ideas to also add to what we have put on paper. We are not saying all that you have seen were the earlier proposals that came on board, and with other ideas that we also have, we added it. And there will be more ideas that will be coming in between tomorrow, to this evening, and on Sunday, inshallah.
So are you going to present the framework to the conference?
Oh yes, inshallah. Even
a suggested framework.
Of course, we're going to present it to them. But before then, we would have received their reports, and they're going to make their own presentation.
Okay, I don't want to go to the national structure.
Yes.
Can we go to the regional structure?
Yes, I know you have interest in the regional structure.
Yes.
The
national one is untouchable. It will come by itself.
Yes.
So let's look at at the summit. What do we have?
at the
top,
shura,
yes.
at the shura level.
Yes.
Shura means consultative, so we
Yes.
have consultative council.
No, you have been explaining consultative for the past 3 weeks, so
Okay.
we now know what it is.
Okay.
Now.
Yes. So we have selected individuals, and what the idea is that, for instance, which region? Your region, okay? Let's take Isi region.
Which one is
your region is Isi region.
No,
so
my region is Greater Accra.
Okay, let me take Volta region. Let me take Volta region.
Yes.
Okay, so for instance, no, Volta is it's too slippery. So let me take OT.
Okay.
I have 2 regions.
OT
so
is too young.
OT is too young. So which one should we take? Okay.
Okay, Eastern will be easier.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let's take Eastern region for instance. You have 3 major sects, right?
Okay.
So each sect will have the head of the regional, the region of the sect in the region, or its representative will be part of the shura. So we have 3, so far 3 recognized sects. But for instance, when you go to Bono, Bono has I'm taking.
Let's stay there.
Okay, all right.
What are
so if you have more than the 3,
you can't ask questions. I am asking you the questions. I'm saying that you've mentioned that there are 3 sects. I'm not sounding controversial. So let's know which are the sects. Ahlus Sunnah wal Jamaa. Okay.
Tijaniya, Shia,
and Shia.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm mentioning Bono because when you go to Bono, the sects are more than the 3. I hope you understand. That's why I'm just
exactly.
Exactly.
So we have Aswaj,
okay.
We have Tijaniya, and then Shia. We have Shia.
Yes.
Okay. Now you say we are doing Eastern region.
Yes, Eastern region. Yes.
Okay, good. So they will come to the regional.
Regional shura.
Okay.
Then we look at other organizations.
No, let's stay here.
No, because they are not the only people that constitute the constitution.
I will come to that.
Okay.
Which group would the regional imam represent?
No, regional imam. What we see, as far as the proposal is concerned, do not represent any sect.
Good.
Yes.
That's also my opinion.
Exactly.
Technically,
yes,
they are not supposed to represent sect.
They may come from a particular sect or have inclination to a particular sect, but they may not represent the sect on the shura.
Good.
Yes.
So will the regional chief imam be part of the regional shura?
Yes, and his deputy. I think over here we are proposing 2 deputies.
Okay.
Yes.
Why should the deputy be members of the shura?
No, they may not have voting, right? But they will be. I mean, it's like a board. You can't take out the board chairman. So board chairman will be there for the fact that he will superintend the chairing of the board and the activities of the board. So basically, that's how the structure is.
What we are doing here is an academic exercise.
Yes.
Jama, we may offend some sensibilities, but just forgive us. Let's try these things out. I know in Eastern region, I don't know the Shia regional imam, I don't know him. But I know that Tijaniya do not have Eastern regional imam.
No.
They do
it's
not
possible.
have.
It's possible.
If they have, those from Koforidua, you know my number. You can send it to me. I know the regional imam is my brother, Imam Yusuf Hamdan. Okay. And I know the Ahlus Sunnah regional imam is Sheikh Atik. Okay. The Shia regional imam, I don't know. Assuming they have. Okay. So let's separate the regional imam. Because he is not supposed to represent. He can belong to any sect.
Exactly.
But he is, by virtue of being the regional imam, he's not supposed to represent any sect. Okay. So the Tijaniya, who will represent the Tijaniya in the Eastern region?
Okay, so when you look at the documents, you go back to the qualification of each organization that will be there. It should be a registered entity. For instance, if you take Tijaniya, they are separate. They may be separate, more than one entity. Okay, but where it is organized, in other words, incorporated and structured, they may not have imam. They may have a chairman of the region. They are qualified per the criteria that we have.
So representatives.
Exactly.
Representatives of Ahl Sunnah.
Yes.
Representative of Tijaniya.
Yes.
Representative of Shia.
Yes.
So if they decide
Exactly.
to bring their imam to represent them,
Exactly.
that is their.
Exactly.
So that's the
Exactly.
clearance.
That's right.
So they will come and meet the regional imam
Yes.
on board.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So apart from this four that we have, so if the maybe Jello Tijaniya group are there, if they want to bring, fine. So the other
Tijaniya
group
movement
too,
also.
Tijaniya movement
Yes.
too, they are there.
Yeah.
So they will represent.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say in Eastern region, we have two. Now we know of two Tijaniya groups.
Okay. Yeah.
The movement and then the council.
Okay.
I think one is council and one is movement.
Yeah.
Then we have Ahl Sunnah and we have Shia and we have the regional imam. Who and who again?
Then we talk about active organizations in the region.
Okay.
So we leave it there.
Okay.
So when you go to a particular region where you have active organizations, then they are incorporated. However, we know of some organizations that are national and they represent they have representation in all the regions.
Okay.
For instance, GIMSA, Ghana Muslim Students Association, Federation of Muslim Women Association. You're talking about Ghana Muslim Mission in the case of Eastern region. Ghana Muslim Mission, and others. So the region that will determine that this organization qualify per this criteria, they are active in this region, and this is what they have done, and therefore they should be called on board. And will continue to develop, so the number will continue to increase depending upon how.
Will the chiefs be part of the shura?
And then we also have the chiefs. We also, yes, per what we have done here, we also have the chiefs, yes.
Okay, so who head the shura council?
Is the regional imam.
I disagree.
Well, that is your opinion.
Yeah, that's my opinion.
It is not the personality. We are putting up a framework. Tomorrow it could be Imam Abbas that will be there.
No.
Or, no. I'm not talking. I'm not setting an example. I'm not talking about
that's my
you.
proposal.
Imam, you may bring your proposal, but what I'm saying is that this is what we are putting before the public. For instance, if you go to Western North, no Imam.
Listen to me.
Okay.
Okay. It means that we must have a criteria for selecting the regional imam.
Exactly.
But as it is now,
yes,
that regional, in my house, we are also beneficiaries. Okay. My father was the Zongo chief, and when he died, my brother became the Zongo chief. Yeah. I don't know who will go first, maybe. So unless we have a criteria, yes, otherwise I disagree and I have a suggestion.
Okay.
I don't like mind anybody per the criteria being the member of the Shura Council at the regional, at the national level. Me, I won't go there. I won't touch the crowd. But the district and regional, I can say something. So what I am proposing is that if all these people get to the regional Shura Council, then there should be a criteria for selecting the leadership and 2 deputies. Good. So you are Tijaniya, fine. You are Ahl Sunnah, fine. You are Shia, fine. But you are not representing Shia here or Ahl Sunnah here. We come here to discuss matters of national concern. So let's say, for instance, the one who heads must go through elections.
That is your opinion?
Yes, that's my opinion.
Okay.
30 or 40 people made up the Shura, Regional Shura Council. A leader for a year or 2 must come through voting. And we must put criteria in place. For instance, we would say that 1, he must be able to speak fluent Arabic. And then must be interviewed by intellect, not just, we shouldn't, you see, we should make it in such a way that when we finally get a leader, we know that yes, we are getting a leader, and know that he's not staying there perpetual, and then he has a mandate to deliver based on certain this. If he's not able to do that, he will be removed based on this and this. But you can't go and remove regional chief imam or something. So if the regional imams also qualify to head the Shura Council, fine. That's what I think. It might sound controversial, but that's why I didn't really want you to use Eastern region. I would have allowed you to. Now let's use OT.
Yeah, so I just want the listeners to understand that
Now, that's my
the
viewpoint.
proposal. That's the proposal
That's
of
me, my view, and I've documented it.
Yes, yes.
You see,
Yeah, but
every leader, every sect, every group should have representative at the regional shura council, but the leadership should not be automatic. There should be criteria, and then it should not be perpetual or permanent. No, no. You see, that is why some organizations have died out. They don't exist like as organization, but technically they exist.
But you know, Imam, apart from the spiritual leadership we are talking about, we have got a management leadership. Okay.
Okay.
So for us, I'm sorry, we are not proposing what do you call it, removal of Imam. We per our document that we are presenting
we
to.
have not spoken about removal of. No,
because people might
no,
yes.
not
okay.
at all. We are looking at the technicalities.
Right.
Okay. Now you are an expert.
Yes. So
that's my area. I have studied leadership,
yes.
and I think that if you do this, it will help. Others might also think differently.
Yes. Of
I have some interesting comments here, but unfortunately, they are so volatile that I cannot read them, but I thank you for those comments. Now,
yes. So we think that we thank you very much for that idea, and a lot of people have also come with similar thing that they're going to vote. Like I said, we think that the current leadership system we have, we ought to give them some recognition. You know, they have taken us from all this far. They've traveled all this far with the Ummah. But as much as we agree that we need to also add some touch to the leadership system, we ought to also recognize the existing structures. So for us, we think that there's not going to be a limited age or age limit as far as the imamship is concerned. But of course, we are proposing at least 50 years. One below 50 years cannot be, a regional imam. And then the process, like you were talking about, yes, there's going to be consultation. But in terms of voting, some people might come with a different idea. We also think that the idea that is going to be tabled, I don't think has also got another.
You have to be 50 years before you become a regional imam.
No, I'm saying that is the problem coming. It is at the end of the day, Imam Abbas, in my intro, I said that there are people with the superior ideas, and they're all coming to sit to discuss. You understand? Of course, you can't go there with empty hands. That's why we are going with something, and then they will look at it, take this out, and bring superior ideas. So we are all there for ideas, and that's why we are spending so much for people to come to Accra for this process. So, inshallah,
50 years.
Imam, it depends on the proposal we've received. Wallahi, if you look at the proposal that we've received, it will tell you that...
Then you are looking for retired public servants. Go for active... Yes, okay, do we have some... I think we don't have much time, but our time is fast spent. Yes. So, let me see. We only have like 2 minutes to wrap up. 2 minutes. All right. So that we give way to news. Okay. So Manan, having had this heated discussion, my memo is ready. I'll email it to you. Okay. I'll be traveling to Tav. I wish I were there to argue out, but once my mentor is there, Professor Paliga, I trust everything will be all right.
He has almost the same idea as yours. No. I know.
Yeah, that's my mentor. Okay, so welcoming all delegates who are here already, and those who are coming this evening, we wish them safe trip to Accra. But your last comment.
Well, we thank you very much, and we thank everybody who has contributed to this, from the preparatory stage up to this stage. We continue to thank all of you, and we hope and pray that at the end of the day we'll have a very wonderful conference, and then the report that will come will present the leadership, and then they will then decide how to move ahead with it. But I also want to appreciate the contribution and the support given to us by the individuals and the ministries that have given us letter of endorsement of the conference. will be around. Justice Ministry will be around. Chieftaincy Ministry will also be around. And our major collaborators, the Muslim caucus in Parliament, they have also been very supportive, not to talk of the Advisory Council of His Eminence, the National Chief Imam. We appreciate the contribution of each and everyone, and you yourself. Thank you so much.
Thank you, viewers. All too soon, we've come to the end of today's edition of Islamic Board. If you've enjoyed our discussion today, join us again, same time next week, for yet another interesting edition of Islamic Board. My name is Abbas Umar Abdul-Karim, and I've been speaking to Abdul Manan Abdul-Rahman, the outgoing General Secretary of Como. Unfortunately, I'm not qualified. I would have also applied for them. Assalamu alaikum. Join me at Parliament House, where I will be leading Juma prayers in the Job 600 building on the 3rd floor. Assalamu alaikum.